This is Diane Prince, and today I have an exciting topic for you. This is going to be a total game changer if you've ever had virtual assistants or you have virtual assistants that aren't working out. We're going to talk about why. And I am talking to you today from New York City, which is so fun, so awesome. I'm in my friend's apartment who has this incredible outside space. Anyway, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about virtual assistants, which is one of my favorite topics, and why I can do things like go to New York City during the work week. So we're going to talk about why today, why your virtual assistants aren't thriving. I'm going to give you the secret to delegating without micromanaging and how to build a team that works without you. Okay, so ready? We're going to dig in. So here's how to do it. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel where I share tips for small business owners and virtual staffing agencies, recruiting agencies to help you to grow. Okay, so are you still doing a million things yourself while you're wondering why your VA isn't stepping up? Well, your problem probably isn't them. It could very well be your systems. The problem, in other words, could be you. You might already know that. You might already say, yes, I know the problem is me, but what do I do to fix it? And I've got you. We're going to talk about that in this video. So we're going to discuss 3 key questions. 1, what are the essential SOPs every VA team needs? 2, how do you stop being the bottleneck? And 3, what is the difference between delegating and micromanaging? Okay, so let's talk about the cost of chaos. First, you want to look at and see if your VA team is spinning their wheels. You always want to look at whose fault is it? Okay, do they have all of everything that they need? Is it your fault or is it theirs? And if you're saying, you might be sitting here thinking, well, it takes a long time to train. I don't have time to train. Listen, if you take 90 days and focus on your team, this will change your entire business life. Okay, so just pause. If you're thinking, I don't have time for this, this is absolutely essential and what you need to be doing if you don't have time. Carve out the time, and it's not that you don't have to be with them 24/7. You don't have to be with them for hours a day, but take the time to be asynchronously. You can be using Loom, you can be using project management tools. Communicate, over communicate at the beginning to help to train your virtual assistants, because you need to, once they have, people want to succeed, right? People need to know what your expectations are of them. So do not skip the step of spending time with your virtual assistants to get them set up. Yes. Part of the purpose of having a virtual assistant team is so that to eliminate bottlenecks. So you want to identify where you are the bottleneck. One sign that you might be the bottleneck is if you're having decision fatigue. Are you just making too many decisions? I realize this sometimes, and sometimes when I'm working with virtual assistants, they might ask me a lot of things and I get tired. I get that decision fatigue. I have to tell them, look, be really clear. You have the authority to make these decisions, and if you do need me for certain decisions, we work out a process so that I can help them. But you need to make sure is every decision that you're making, is everything that your virtual assistant's asking you absolutely necessary for you to get involved, or can you just give them the trust to make those decisions for you? Because sometimes they might make different decisions than you would. Okay, I've had that where I've been like, one time my virtual assistant said something to a prospect and I was like, oh, I wouldn't say it that way. I would say it this way. Well, guess what? The prospect closed just exactly how my virtual assistant did it. Okay, so you want to define where you need to get involved and where you don't, and back where you don't. So oftentimes it's not that you need better virtual assistants, it's that you need better communication and you need better systems. Okay, so let's talk about the core delegation framework here with virtual assistants. Okay, so one thing you can do is categorize your tasks. Okay, when you write down the things that you do every day, what are you going to keep? What do you love to do? What are you best at? And that's the only things you should be doing, right? And then what can you delegate? What do you need to delegate? And what do you need to automate? Automate is probably the second one. So like keep, automate, delegate. And virtual assistants can help you if you're like, I don't know how to automate. Virtual assistants also can be the people that help you to put in your automations. You want to define outcomes. What does done right look like? Everybody should know what the expectations are. What does success look like in their role? Be really clear on that and what you're looking to get out of it. What a successful job would be for your virtual assistant so that you can let them know specifically how they know it when they're doing a good job. Next, assign ownership, not tasks, okay? Because if you're sitting there trying to figure out exactly how your virtual assistants are doing something, you're probably wasting brain cells, okay? So you assign ownership. For example, I'm writing a book, okay? We're working on the book and we're working on the book cover, okay? So I can communicate to my team, these are some things that I have in my mind, the vision for the book cover, go figure it out, okay? They're probably gonna hire someone, they're probably gonna find a graphic designer on Fiverr, they're also gonna talk to the editor to see what the book cover services are that the editor provides. They're gonna deal with it. I share my vision, they figure out how to make it happen. So they're figuring out the task, not me. Okay, and next, super important, are feedback loops, weekly scorecards, huddles. My team meets, I have a main meeting once a week where we report on our rocks, which are our quarterly things that we have to get done. We report on metrics, what's done and what's not done. We report on YouTube subscribers, LinkedIn followers, things like that, engagement, leads that have closed, how many calls we've gotten. And we do that once a week. We have weekly scorecards so that we're all on the same page and we know what everybody else is pretty much doing or what we're working on. And also the important thing too is not just accountability with the weekly meetings, but it's also a time when the team can get together and figure out how we can best support each other and how we can help each other to make sure that we're all on track. And if you notice all these things, you notice the virtual assistants I'm talking about are my team, okay? We're not talking about some like side redheaded stepchild kind of a thing. I spoke to a founder the other day who said that was their problem, is that they treated the VAs like they just treated them separately. They didn't really train them properly. And it's so common. But if you train your people, if you train your offshore people like you would train your people in-house, and you might, it's a common problem, honestly, in-house too, but training people is so important, giving them only the attention they need, but not too micromanaging. Let's talk about SOPs, standard operating procedures. Now, I lean heavily on my virtual assistant team to help me to create our SOPs. And that is always part of the process when working with virtual assistants that I find helpful, is having them consistently create standard operating procedures for the things that they do. That way, other people can step in to do them. If they're out, you can also step in to do them, so that things are outlined on what the standard operating procedures are for your business. I know for me, I'm not super organized and operational like that. So what I'll do is I'll make a video, I'll make explaining so it might be about cold email outreach, it might be, I don't know, something else, or I'll just actually say, like, this is what we need to get done. I need you guys to create SOPs, and then I'll review them sometimes, or other times I'll just trust my team to just make and run with them. Loom is my favorite tool for that. I'm recording this video on Loom, but Loom, if you don't know, you can do you can do video, record your screen. It's a great way to explain and communicate and work asynchronously. We also use Slack. We use Asana. You can use Notion, and you can use huddles. So make sure to communicate with your team so that they have the things that they need without you hovering over them. So when I say there's ownership over output, not activities, is that if say somebody's rock is to help me to get the book done. Like, we have a rock to get my book done this quarter. Okay, so part of it, like Zeke is one of my assistants, and he's helping me to get the book done. So with his part, so like I mentioned, the cover. Okay, so he's going to figure out. It's not like he's going to design the cover. He's going to figure out what resources we need to get that done, but he's going to own the process. So virtual assistants can find other virtual assistants. They can find people on Fiverr. They can do all sorts of things like that. That's one of my favorite things that my assistants do for me. And this is a mindset shift. This is a mindset shift from task doer to CEO, to founder, to leader. Okay. So I worked with one client who owns a law firm. His name is Bennett, and this was so game changing for him. We've been working on delegating for a while, and he is just soaring, and it's been amazing to watch how he's been able to let go and to delegate. At first, he felt bad delegating to his people. He's like, they're one person. He's like, he's only in his 20s. I'm like, who cares? He's doing great. So now that he's delegating, he's actually he's learned to delegate better to his paralegal. Now he has 2 paralegals under that paralegal, and he's just doing amazing. So stop checking their work, start checking their outcomes. Okay, like that example I said where Zeke sent the message back, I got in the weeds. I was like checking his work by saying you should have said it that way. I should have checked the outcome where he actually got the client. Who cares about the other stuff, right? Okay, so reframe delegation as leadership. It's leadership development. Look at, you're developing leaders, and just remember, it doesn't matter where they are in the world. Treat your virtual assistants with the same respect and the same differentiation of them being individuals as you would with people who are just working in your office, okay? And you'll get really, really good results, okay? And then you can use the mantra, train them once, trust them often, okay? So if you're ready to delegate and scale your business, you can also get your own team through A Team. That's what we do. And I decided I was going to implement all of these things myself and try them before I scaled them. And we've been doing that for a few years now, and now we're scaling it, and now we're offering A Team. So we recruit and place virtual assistants in staffing agencies and also small businesses. So let me know if you need that. And then let's just talk about aren't working. Okay, and which is also a reason why we started A Team, because if they're not working, we replace people. So and we also oversee them. So okay, just a side note on that, little shameless plug. And also don't forget to subscribe if you're not already to my YouTube channel, and comment too and tell me what you think of this video. Okay, so what to do when it's not working. So you got to be able to troubleshoot red flags. Okay, meetings help with that. Having a regular weekly meeting helps, because that's where you're going to be measuring outcomes, and then the whole team can help to support the person who is off track. So if you look at meetings in that way, that meetings, really what you should be doing, bulk of your meetings are solving issues. So you would identify the issues, but then you want to solve them, and you want to spend most of the time making sure that you're solving them. And you as the founder, you do not have to have all the answers. You're not the one that's just supposed to solve everything. That's why you have a team. And so you can ask your team to help each other, help you, and help each other to solve problems, okay? And also clarify before you correct. Misalignment often comes from vague expectations. I've coached startup employees, and the most common complaint I get is, I just don't know if I'm doing a good job. I don't know. I haven't heard back. I haven't gotten feedback. And that's really hard for people when they don't get feedback, okay? So to recap, SOPs, standard operating procedures, plus delegation equals a scalable business. That's how you scale a business. Okay, when I first scaled my businesses, it was before we had access to all of these global resources around the world, and now it's just so much easier to scale through delegation. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, so next steps, you can download our delegation identifier tool, which will be in the notes here. And then you can also let us know if you're interested in talking to some of our virtual assistants about how we could work for you. And then remember, the fastest way to reclaim your time is to stop being the system and start building one. So I'm Diane Prince, sold a business for $28 million. I guess I should have said that at the beginning, but you might know that if you're here, and love to help small businesses to grow. So let me know any questions, feedback you have, and love to hear your experiences with virtual assistants. Let me know how this was, and reach out and if you need it.